Welcome to week 14, and in this week's lesson we're going to get into basic motion. Now, in basic motion you have to have your product assembled, and that's what we got into in the previous classes. But on this one we're actually going to make this thing turn. You can see your part should look like mine right now. You should be able to take and spin, and it's all locked in. You've got it constrained to this base plate for this Geneva cam. It's spinning really good, and then over here on this side it should be mated and constrained to the base plate, and they should be centered up with the holes that were bored into that base plate. Alright, now I want to show you how to go in and get this thing turning. And to do so, the book might show you a little bit different way. I want to show you a simplified method. First thing I want to do is double click my base plate, and whenever you do that, it allows you to open it up where you can work on it, which is really handy. The only thing I want to do is put a work plane right through the middle of this, and I should already have one set up. And I do. Right there should be right in the center of it is my XZ plane. So I want to turn the visibility on that and just take a look at it, and there's my XZ plane. It's already showing. So now I'm going to go back. I'm going to hit save on this, and I want to go back to my assembly, and you can see it. That base plate right there is its work plane. Next thing I want to do is I want to kick the work plane on this Geneva cam right here. I want to get these lined up first, and I just double click on that part, and there it is. And I want to put myself a visible work plane. The work plane's already made. It should be. I just want it visible. That's dead in the center, so I just right click on it, go to visibility, click it on. It's on, hit save, and now I can slide down here to this little bar, go back to assembly. There she is. It's turning and spinning. This one will stay stationary. If you'll notice, I've got my base plate, my Geneva base, I've got it grounded with a little thumbtack in it. So now I want to show you how to get this thing turning by itself. And to do so, come up here to angle. Oh, yeah. Come up here to angle. Constraint. Remember I showed you earlier you have the make constraint, and you got an insert constraint. You also got an angle constraint that we use quite a bit. Click on that angle constraint and click. You want to click on this work plane on this, and then you want to click this work plane for the base twice. And you notice how it put it lined them up, and I would put on this one. That's fine, because I want this groove to be right here, and that's perfect. Apply. So now you'll notice you can grab a hold of it. Before I could turn it, but now I can't do anything because I've got it locked into that angle. Now you can also do this. I want to show you. See that make constraint, the angle constraint we put on there? You can also right click this and suppress it. When you do that, when you suppress it, it unlocks it. You see that? The constraint's still there, but it's just not in usage. Now if you want to go back and reset it back to where it was, just unsuppress it. Or suppress it, I'm sorry. And now it won't move. Now to get basic motion, it's already set up. All you got to do is right click on top of your angle, and you'll see a drive. You see this drive? Click on it. And basically you start at 0 degrees, and you turn it 360, and then hit play, and there it goes. And you can do this faster, and there's some extra little things in here to do that with. You can repetitions, you can do it several times, and then here. This is the actual speed of it. Let's see if that makes any difference. Oh yeah, that's it. Then you've got, you could repeat it 3 times and slow it down where it doesn't look so crazy. So you can actually get this thing to run. However, and I want to put this one back on 0. So I just double click it, and put it back to 0. And it goes back to where this is lined up. If I were to take it and turn it around, it's hard to see. I should have done them in different colors. But anyways, it lines this thing up straight. And what I want to do is see this one. I want to get this cam to actually where it's working this. Okay? And to do so, I've got to get this thing set up here. I've got to get myself a work plane on it so that I can use it. So I'm going to double click on this. And I want the work plane to come through here from this point because it's going to be in between that groove of that Geneva cam, so it'll turn it. So what I want to do is I want to slide over here and see if there's not one already made. And there it is. Perfect. I'm just going to right click, turn my visibility on. Perfect. I want to hit save on that. And I want to go back to assembly. Alright, now after we get that work plane in on this, what I want to do is I want to get these meshed up. You know, right now they're just they're touching and they're not actually moving each other. I want to get an angle set on this one to make it my driver, and this one here I've already got an angle set to 0, which is going to keep this thing lined up like this. Now, if we go into contact set, I want to show you how to do that. You come up here to design, or inspect, I'm sorry, and you got the active content solver, and we'll do that in just a minute. But also the parts that are going to hit, they're actually going to move, you want to find them over here in your browser, in your model browser. And if you look at it, you got the Geneva driver, right click it, and well, actually the pin's the only thing touching, so we'll go to pin, and you right click and you go down to contact set, and you see that right there. That means I'm contact set. And then come up here to this Geneva cam and do the same thing, right click and then go to contact set. Now after you get that in there, if you'll notice, check this out, I can grab this driver, and manually I'm doing this by hand, and this is what it's supposed to do. And make sure this, if you turn that contact solver off, it won't let it do anything. You have to have it turned on. And see, I can't catch nothing there. Well, there it caught it. It kind of slipped back out of it. Alright, now to get and that's what I'm talking about, getting this thing lined up. And we're going to do that real quick. So I want to come back over here to my Geneva cam and make sure that the suppression is off, that way it's locked. And then I want to take this one and I want to set it with an angle constraint as well. So what you want to do is go back to constraint and find myself an angle constraint. And I want to get on this side of the fence. Actually, I can grab this one first, and then I'll grab this side. And one more time. And let's see if I can get that to 180. Perfect. You see how it just turned it around? Now, if you'll notice something, at this point, all that is lined up. You can't really see it too well like that, but with those constraints, those angle constraints, I've got everything lined up perfectly. Now, all thing I have to do is turn it on and let it run. However, to do that, you've got a drive, and if you go over here to your browser, you control all that by getting it to move through the browser, and you do it through the angle. You see you got angle here. If you right click, you got a drive. But this is our driver, so we've got to drive off that pin. So come down here, well actually right here it is, off your Geneva driver, and you're going to right click here and hit drive. But the problem of it is, if I hit that and then hit play, it's not, oh, you've seen it actually try to move a little bit. The reason it didn't move and push this thing was because of one problem, is because I've got this one constrained right here. This one won't move if you take your cursor and mouse and push down and try to move it, it won't move. So you got to get on angle, right click it, and go to suppress. So I've turned that off. Only reason that you set this one is so that you can line it up. That's the only reason. Then you suppress it. Now I can slide right back down here to this, my driver, right click and drive. And we'll start at 180 and we'll end. And basically it would be, you're going around 360 times. So what you want to do is take 180 and then you're going to add 360 and it'll go back around to that. Say it's just going 180 or 360 degrees past 180. So it's driving really slow right now. And we can speed that up, of course. Let's see if it catches. There it is. Good catch. It's moving just fine. Excellent. So it went all the way around 360. Now, if you want to add a little bit of speed to this, you can change it right here. We can do maybe 15. Maybe you want to do 2 revolutions with it. That's fine. So kick her on again. A little bit of speed to it. Everything looks great. And basically, that's how you do it. Now, for instance, if I do this, if I get in here and I move this because it's not locked, well, if I go back to drive and hit play, it can't do it because there's something going on. Okay? So you'll have to go back in there and reset this one back by hitting suppress, unsuppress. It takes it back to its home. And then you go back, then you got to actually suppress it, and then it frees it up, and then you can go down here and drive. Just kind of like having a park brake on your car. Doesn't work too good when that park brake's on, does it? You have to unlock it. That's the same way. You're just unlocking this. Everything's moving well. Okay? So there's a lot to this. If you have any questions about it, please contact me, and we'll try to work through it.